Hi, my name is CJ Lovelady.
And I'm April Burke. Today we're going to start you on a journey of learning how to become a reseller.
During this course, we're going to be going over all aspects of the reselling world. From where to start, organizing your business, looking at financial structures,
organizing and understanding the different taxes, legal organization, and sourcing merchandise, selling on eBay, Amazon, and other platforms.
We're also going to talk about retail arbitrage and what to do after you make your first sale.
So, sit back, grab a notepad, and let's get started.
Everybody's starting point is going to be different. Your personal starting point may differ from others because there are so many selling sites, and you really must understand your niche to understand where you want to start. If you're going to resell apparel, then it may be best for you to start on Poshmark. If you're going to resell small appliances, electronics, home goods, etc., then eBay may be the platform for you. If you have new, clean merchandise and are willing to tap into Amazon's gated categories, then Amazon may be the place for you.
Understanding how you want to structure your business, your storage situation, and your daily involvement will help determine your starting point. You also have to look at how you will operate, what taxes will be due, business funding, and your business's financial structure. To start a reselling business online, here are some things to consider. Do in-depth research. Every platform has its own legal requirements and criteria to meet, and most mainstream brands have restrictions. Never claim you manufacture the product or you know the manufacturer. Since you're reselling, make sure you say never opened and used or something similar.
So if you're selling within a state, say for instance you're selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace, you do have to collect sales tax at a certain threshold. So your state is going to be different than our state. However, you need to understand what your state's legal requirements are for collecting and remitting sales tax. Amazon and eBay does this for you, but if you're selling on Poshmark or Mercari, then you may not be getting the taxes like you're supposed to.
Okay, if you have any questions specifically about filing taxes within your state, check with a local accountant or an attorney who can help you file those taxes properly.
Over the next few modules, we will also give you some suggestions on how you can organize your business. I know that you're excited to get started, but if you don't take the necessary time and effort in the beginning to get organized and have a clear, concise, long-term and short-term goals, you may be setting yourself up for failure before you even get started.
Although we have a lot of experience in reselling and setting up an LLC, including our own store, Pallet and Liquidations, we are by no means a lawyer or a CPA and cannot speak on their behalf. If you have any questions, it is best to seek the legal advice of a professional before moving on. Some of the paperwork and legal documents listed in this course are pertinent to the U.S. Each country will have their own laws for setting up such things, but many of the steps and recommendations will be pertinent in your own setup. And with that, let's begin.
Funding your business is probably one of the biggest roadblocks to getting your business up and running. We're going to give you a few funding options to get you started with your business. Option number 1, money from your savings account. While this may not be an option for some, utilizing your savings account funds to get started with the business could be a viable option. If you plan to use money from your savings account, it is best to draft a plan to repay yourself from your business funds. It's easiest if you count it as a business debt and make monthly payments to repay that, just like you would with any bill.
Option 2, get a traditional loan. Getting a business loan is not as easy to acquire as a personal loan because banks generally want to see a history of income before they loan you money. If you're a new business, then you will likely have a harder time acquiring a business loan until you have established your business. Should you take out a personal loan to fund your business, you should count it as a business debt and draft a plan to repay just as you would if you have funded the business with money from your savings. Option 3, fund from other side businesses, side gigs, or your 9-to-5 job. This can include ride sharing online affiliate links, or other programs such as mystery shopping.
Whatever way you choose to fund your business, you need to have a clear plan as to how that money is going to be spent. If you plan to purchase inventory or liquidation pallets, you may go on a spending frenzy only to find out that you may not get the return on investment you originally thought. Next, we're going to give you some samples of financial structures that could help you with setting up your business.
Setting up your financial structure in the developmental stages of forming your business is part of building a solid foundation for your business. Like we said earlier, these are just suggestions, as you need to consult with a financial specialist to see what may work best for your business. It is suggested that your business financials should always be kept separate from your personal funds. Take a look at how we have our business financial structured, as you may benefit from structuring your business this way. We opened 2 business accounts, a business savings account, and a business credit card.
The reason we have 3 bank accounts is that it helps with separating funds so that it's easier to visualize what assets you actually have. Revenue is then split between those accounts on a periodical basis. Here's an example of a typical day's revenue split. Let's say we have $500 in sales on Monday. 40% or $200 goes to the operating account. This is the account where we pay bills, fees, and subscriptions. This is also your overhead account. These charges can also be handled with the credit card, and that credit card bill can be paid out of this account. 25% or $125 goes into a spending account. This is the account we use to buy pallets or products. When there's enough in there to buy a pallet, we buy one or more. 25% or $125 goes into a savings account. We use this account for taxes. If we owe taxes at the end of the year, this is where we will pay them from. 10% or $50 goes into a savings account. This can be the same savings account as above, but this amount can be used for charity, gifting, or just to have some extra cash for a slow month.
That accounts for your $500 in sales. So you may be thinking, well, when do I get paid? Well, we take what we have left in the operating account and take what's left over to pay ourselves. That way everything is paid and accounted for, then we get paid. No matter how you choose to structure your financials, you should either hire a CPA or use some sort of accounting software to label transactions. This will save you time and money during tax season. For pallet jacking, we use the accounting software QuickBooks. It works best for us. Listed on the screen are some other options you can use.
All right, next we're going to get into the business organization. So let's get your business organized. This lesson will deepen your understanding of what the common business organizations are and the differences between them. Again, you will get a clear idea about the characteristics and legal requirements to launch each type of organization and which one will suit you best. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to discuss the common business organizations, characteristics, advantages, and disadvantages, comparisons between organizations based on ownership, liability, and taxes. Know the facts that should be considered before choosing a specific organization structure. Learn more about startup procedures of those organizations, and learn more about the startup procedures of those organizations. The most popular structures for business are sole proprietorship, general partnership, corporation, limited partnership, limited liability company, and limited liability partnership. To choose the best structure for your business, you need a deeper understanding of the characteristics, advantages, and disadvantages of each that are as follows. Sole proprietorship. A sole proprietorship is one person doing business in his or her own name or under a fictitious name. Sole proprietorships do not produce a separate business entity. This means your business asset and liabilities are not separate from your assets and liabilities. You can be held personally responsible for debts and obligations of the business. There also are some advantages of being a sole proprietor. A sole proprietorship has simplicity. Plus, there's no organizational expenses and other tax forms or reports. It can be a good choice for low-risk businesses and owners who want to test their business idea before forming a more formal business. There are also some disadvantages. The proprietor is personally liable for all debts and obligations. Also, there is no continuation of the business after death. All profits are directly taxable, certainly a disadvantage for the proprietor, and business affairs are easily mixed with personal affairs.
Next is general partnership. A general partnership involves 2 or more people carrying on a business together, normally under a partnership agreement, and sharing the profits and losses. The advantages are partners can combine expertise and assets. A general partnership also allows liability to be spread among more people. The business can be continued after the death of a partner if bought out by the surviving partner. The disadvantages, however, is each partner is liable for acts of the other partners within the scope of the business. This means that if your partner harms a customer or signs $1 million credit line in the partnership's name, you can be personally liable. Even if you leave all profits in the business, those profits are taxable. Control is shared by all parties, and the death of a partner may result in liquidation. In a general partnership, it is often hard to get rid of a bad partner. Corporation. A corporation is an artificial legal person that conducts the business through its officers for its shareholders. C corporation. A C corporation is any corporation that has not elected to be taxed as an S corporation. C corporation pays income tax on its profits. The effect is when dividends are paid to shareholders, they are taxed twice. Once by the corporation and again when they are paid to the shareholders. An S corporation, sometimes called an S corp, is a special type of corporation that's designed to avoid the double taxation drawback of a regular C corp. S corps allow profits and some losses to be passed through directly to owners' income without ever being subject to corporate tax rates.
Limited partnership. A limited partnership is like a general partnership, but with some significant distinctions. Limited partnership management rests with the general partner, who also bears unlimited liability for the company's obligation and debt. A limited partnership also allows an unlimited number of limited partners, with limited liability to the total amount of their investment. Limited liability company. The Limited Liability Company Act is found at 805 ILCS 180. This relatively new invention is a limited partnership without general partners and has characteristics of both a corporation and a partnership. It is fast becoming the first choice of small business owners. In general, none of the partners has a liability, and all can have some control. Notably, just as in any corporation, an LLC member may be held personally liable if he or she does not keep LLC affairs separate from his or her business. Profit and losses can get passed through to your income without facing corporate taxes. However, members of an LLC are considered self-employed and must pay self-employment tax contribution towards Medicare and Social Security. Here are some advantages. The LLC offers the tax benefits of a partnership with the protection from the liability of a corporation. It offers more tax benefits than an S corporation because it may pass through more depreciation and deductions, has different classes of ownership, has unlimited number of members, and also has aliens as members.
Oh my God!
I was just making sure I was paying attention. There's also some disadvantages of an LLC. Startup and annual fees are higher for an LLC than for a corporation. Limited liability companies pay Social Security tax on all profits up to a limit. Because a limited liability company is a new invention, there are not a lot of legal answers currently available. The courts will probably rely on the corporation and limited partnership law. So the way that we chose to organize pallet jacking was an LLC. We was actually going between an LLC and an S Corp, and we actually chose the LLC because I believe there was more tax benefits for forming the LLC. Also, we keep everything separate from our personal and our business financials, so it just made sense for us to choose an LLC because it pallet jacking is its own entity. So when tax times come, our CPA, he goes through, he gets all of our financials, and he gives us a document at the end of it, and we take that and we file that on our personal taxes, and it flows through on our personal taxes. So we just like the way that's set up because it's a lot easier than some of the other organizations that are out there. So we're going to include a link to the place that did our LLC. And on the next module, we're going to talk a little bit about how to establish your LLC. We didn't necessarily do any paperwork for it. We just paid the company to do it. So that may be an option for you.
Otherwise, if you don't want to use one of the online places like how we use, you can also, contact a local attorney who specializes in forming businesses. And that person will be able to guide you in the correct direction. Liquidation pallets have been around for quite some time. Essentially, liquidation pallets are goods that can be purchased for pennies on the dollar from big name stores and brands that we all know and love. The items can vary in condition, and I'm going to explain each condition type. So, there's new condition, which are items that are brand new. The boxes or packages have never been opened and have never been sold to another customer. These items shouldn't have box damages, cuts, tears, missing pieces, or damage in any way. These items should be resale ready and should require little to no prep before listing or reselling. Then there's light new. The light new condition is items that could be new or could be used. These items may have been sold to a customer or sent to a resale store. These items may have box damage, but should not be missing pieces and should not be broken or damaged. These items may have stains or smell that differ from the new conditions. Then there's shelf pull. The shelf pull conditions is similar to the new or light new condition because these items have never been sold to a customer but may have been sent to a resale store. These items may have some shelf wear from sitting on shelves. These items may also have box damage and may be missing pieces. These items may have damage to the item as well. Then there's customer returns. The customer returns condition is one of the most common when it comes to liquidation. Customer returns are items that have been purchased and returned to a retail store. These items may be damaged, missing pieces, have box damage, or may not function as designed.
These items are usually untested, but are sold for a cheaper price than the aforementioned conditions. Then there's salvage. Salvage condition is basically items that are broken, missing pieces, and have little to no resale value. Some people will sell these items for parts on a platform like eBay, but in general, these items do not work. They're broken, they're missing pieces, and they are considered salvage.
Salvage items are good for people who are good at fixing things. For example, you may find a salvage lot of Nintendo Switch. Okay. If you get those, you will get them for probably little or nothing. But if you're good at fixing those things, you might be able to find parts and put it together and sell it as a whole condition.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of specifically Nintendo Switches that didn't work. They were salvaged, they were broken, and they sold immediately, because there's somebody out there that will pay $100 for a $250 item and be able to fix it for $15 and sell it for $250.
Right.
So that's generally the ideal when you're getting salvage things. Now, also, you can't look at salvage items as a loss, because there's a lot of times there's value in things that you don't think there's value in. Sometimes you can take pieces if you get multiples of things. So a lot of times we'll get pressure cookers that will be missing the lid. The lids will be shattered, or the body of it will be dented, or it'll be missing a cable or cord. So we kind of save all those pieces and we kind of do a Frankenstein kind of deal. And we put those items together and we have one whole piece now. So that saved us a couple times on a couple items that we maybe had a brand new pressure cooker, but it didn't have the lid. So we was able to, get a lid from another one, put it on there, boom. Now you've got a whole entire set. So don't discount salvage items just because they're salvage and just because they have little to no value, because you have to turn them into some sort of profit, even if you make $1. I always say that if you are selling items and you can't necessarily make, $25, $30, $40, $50, if you can make $1 back of your money, it's better than making back zero. I don't care what anybody says.
Right. So if you buy it for $5 and you can sell it for $6,
you made a profit.
That's $1 profit.
That's $1 profit. Now I know a lot of people they have a little thing about,
oh, I ain't selling nothing for $50, stabbing up my nose because it's only $1 profit.
I don't care, because as long as you're making money, you're making money. But if you pay $10 for a set of widgets and you don't sell any of them because you're too good to sell them, or you feel like it's not worth your time to sell those items, I'm going to sell them for $7. I'm going to get $7 of my $10 back, as opposed to just giving away the whole $10. So.
Exactly.
All right, so we're just going to give you like a general overview of the steps for getting a liquidation pallets. So if you're going to purchase them, you can either purchase them online or you can purchase them at a local liquidator. We actually do both. But if you are purchasing them online, a lot of times they will come with manifests. So the first thing that we do is we look at what kind of items that we want. So do we want electronics? Do we want general merchandise? Do we want bed, bath and body? Do we want health and beauty? What kind of items do we want? So we generally understand what we want or what we're looking for before we even go through and start looking at manifests.
And the way we usually determine what type of product we want to do, we kind of listen to our customer base. So we have a store here in town, and usually we'll have people say, hey, do you have a microwave? Do you have a pressure cooker? Do you have any more bedding items? Do you have this or that? And so that is what prompts us to buy, an electronic pallet, or to buy a home goods pallet.
Right.
Those are the things that we kind of look at, before we go in to the, wherever we're going to go, either online or if we're going to go to the store, what type of pallet we're going to actually get.
And it's going to be different in different areas. Mm-hmm. I know we look at a couple people on YouTube, and they, their area does well with baby items. Mm-hmm. So, they generally skew towards getting those types of items because they sell very quickly. Just in general for us, baby items do sell very quickly. Even the higher end baby items actually sell very quickly for us. So we know that if we can get a baby pallet, we're going to do probably pretty well on it. So once we get into the category, whatever category that is, we generally will look at the purchase price. So that'll be the price that the liquidator wants for the pallet. And then we'll look at the value. So we like to stay about 10%. Sometimes we don't stay 10% because sometimes it's not even feasible to stay within 10% of value. When I'm talking about when I say 10% of the value. So if you have a pallet that is $5,000 of value, you don't want to pay more than $500 for that pallet. That's the 10% rule. So a lot of times, you'll see pallets, the value is $1,100, but they want you to pay $500 for a pallet. And that's, to me, not a good deal. Even when we're talking about brand new items, because people, when they purchase not from the original manufacturer, or if they don't purchase from a big box store, they want a discount. They want a deal. And we just, in our minds, we think about 50%. Right. So you can look at that value and cut it straight in half. And that's probably more likely what you're going to get for that pallet.
So if it says, for instance, okay, this pallet is $500, but it has $2,000 worth of goods in it, you can expect to make $1,000 off of that pallet. Mm-hmm. And that is what we look at when we determine if I need to even look at the manifest. So if I look at it and say, well, it's $500, we're only going to make $1,000. We'll make $500, which is good. But we also like to look at look at all of our options. So we may not look at that manifest,
Right. You just don't even waste your time looking at it because you know that you're not going to make that money back. And sometimes you can see a pallet that has, a perceived good value. Bulk.com is really bad for this. If you go through the manifest, it'll say, this is $5,000 worth of product. And then you go into it and it has a quantity of 3 packs of diapers that are valued at $935 a piece.
Exactly.
And it kind of inflates the price for no reason because that's an error. Now, those errors can be caught, and those are errors. Those are human errors. We're all humans. Humans probably look at the pallets and go through the items so that, they may have missed that. And whenever they saw the value of that, that's all they go off of is the value of it. So there is a bulk community group if you ever see that. And I've seen on the bulk community group where people have pointed out those pallets that have incorrect values on them. And bulk is really good about going back and redoing the pricing based on the actual value of the items that are within the pallet.
So speaking of manifest, this is one of the reasons why you should go through the manifest. So if the manifest says it has, 10 items on it and one of the items is valued at, $900, go on Amazon and look at that item and see what it is actually selling for. Go on eBay and see what it is actually selling for. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be selling for $900. And that is how you can determine whether or not this is a pallet you want to buy. See how it's selling. Is it selling quickly? Is it not selling quickly? Sometimes it can be an item it might be $900, but shoot, it might take you 6 months to sell it. So it might not be something that you need to purchase.
Right. So once you go through, you find a pallet, you say, okay, this is a good price, is within my 10%. The items look like they're clean, they're good. There may be unexpected returns, so you don't know. It may be like new, so you still kind of don't know. Or they may be new and you should know because it's new. So once you make that determination, so on different websites, it goes a little bit differently. But if we talk about like a bulk.com where it's the actual price, they give you what the price of it is, you pay that. A lot of the liquidation companies don't like to remit sales tax. So what they'll do is they'll ask you for a reseller certificate. So the reseller certificate, it actually gives you a license to not have to pay sales tax on a liquidation pallet, because you as a liquidator is legally obligated to collect and remit sales tax to your respective state. A lot of people don't do it. Just because they don't do it doesn't mean it's not right or it's not needed.
Right.
You're supposed to do that. So that's why they ask you for a resale certificate, so you don't have to pay sales tax. But when you do resell that to somebody else, they are supposed to give you sales tax, and you turn that sales tax over to the state. So if you give them a resale certificate, you purchase the pallet, you put your information in. So a lot of people want to know about how the pallets get to you and all those different things. But whenever you are ordering a pallet, and you know what your situation is, if you have a warehouse or if you're at your garage or if you have like a building or something like that, you need to get a liftgate delivery. If you are ordering a pallet, because you don't want them showing up to your door without a liftgate unless you have a fork truck.
Right.
So sometimes liftgate, or all the time, liftgate delivery costs more than the not. So if you have a place like a warehouse or something where you can accept deliveries without a liftgate, you don't have to use that option. But if you are just somebody like us that's doing it with no warehouse or anything like that, we have to do a liftgate delivery. Sometimes they come in box trucks. They may come FedEx ground, wherever they come in, they will have a liftgate to be able to bring it down to the ground and pull it into wherever you're at with a pallet jack.
And one last note, make sure that whatever shipping you're doing, make sure that they deliver to residential.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to be getting it to your home, say your garage or something like that. Some places will not deliver to residential neighborhoods. Right. So you just need to make sure it's okay for them to deliver it. And like bulk.com, they do. Mm-hmm. They have delivered to residential. So I know that's a good place to go. Yeah.
You just have to make sure that you read everything. You don't take anything for granted. You don't just go past it like say, oh, it don't matter. Well, sometimes it does, because you know, you may try to get a shipment and don't put down that it's a residential address. And then they start getting to where you're at and they're like, hey, we're going to have to cancel this delivery because this is to a residence, not to a business. So you want to make sure that you understand that. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the computer and we're going to actually pull up a few websites and we're going to go through some manifests and kind of show you what we look for in the manifest, how we calculate what we're going to sell or what we're going to make. We'll jump on eBay. That's a lot of times where we sell a lot of stuff. We'll go and see what the items are actually selling for versus what. Start out with bulk.com. Bulk.com is one of the first websites that we actually use to actually liquidate or buy liquidation pallets on. It's one of the easiest to use that I've found because they actually have an app and I can just quickly pull up the app, look at the liquidation pallets that they have. And then I can actually go in and order everything, and it's super quick and super simple. I don't have to get on the computer, and I don't have to do anything other than go onto the app and do that. So if you look at bulk.com, they have a very simple website. You can look at, they have office and computer stuff, consumer electronics, home and garden, apparel and accessories, toys and baby, and then also general merchandise. And then also you can go and sort everything by the condition. So you can go new, like new, unexpected return, scratch and dent, and salvage. Then you can also search the newly added pallets or boxes. And that's another cool thing about bulk.com is that they actually have both pallets and boxes. So you don't necessarily have to get a big, huge pallet and worry about, you know, freight shipping or anything like that. You can actually just get the cases, and the shipping is like $30 on the cases. And then another good thing about bulk is that you can actually choose a warehouse because they have multiple warehouses all over the United States. You can actually get a pallet from a warehouse that's close to you so you can get it pretty quick. So we've seen if we order from our Tennessee warehouse, we can get pallets in like as little as 2 or 3 days. So it's actually pretty good, especially if you want to get product quick. So if you go over to, you know, let's just look at some new stuff. New stuff is generally a lot more expensive than the unexpected returns, obviously. But you know, sometimes they put some gems out there and they normally don't last long. So you can just go in here and you can look at, these are cases. You can see case right here. That just kind of says that it's a case. It tells you how many items it is. It also tells you if the ground shipping is included. So on this box right here, we'll click on it. It says this box right here is $277 and then $30 ground shipping. So that means to your door, you're only going to pay $307. Now, I say that, but if you don't have a reseller certificate, I would highly recommend you get a reseller certificate before you actually purchase online pallets, because they will have to charge you sales tax unless you have a reseller certificate, which exempts you from sales tax. So if you look right here, it tells you that this box right here has 252 items in it, and that's $1.22 per item. So you can very quickly go down here. They have photos. They also have the UPC code as well as the ASIN if it's on Amazon. So this is really good for doing research. If you want to do research before you purchase these pallets, you don't want to do like a mystery box scenario, bulk is really good because you can do a lot of research up front and know exactly if you can send these items into Amazon or how much they're selling for on eBay. Just general research. Also, you can see, you can kind of do a quick look. I always, whenever I pull one up on bulk.com, I'll go through and I'll look at all the photos just to kind of see if it's stuff that I like. So like we'll just cruise through these. This looks like makeup, some Flonase, some more makeup. Just a hodgepodge. This is kind of like a hodgepodge kind of palette. But another cool thing about bulk.com is that you can click on download the complete manifest. So whenever you download the manifest, it actually pull up everything that's on the pallet itself. All right, so if you're looking at the manifest, I'm going to kind of give you a little overview of what the manifest looks like. It gives you the pallet ID, which tells you what the pallet number is, what it is, the category, which is general merchandise. It gives you the license plate number, which you can actually use if you want to do like an inventory thing. You don't want to use the UPC codes. You can use these LP numbers, and that scans each item. So if you're putting it into like a Square software or into a register or something like that, you can use that barcode because they do have that barcode on each item. So it gives you the category, the brand, and then the product name, as well as the UPC code and the ASIN and the original retail value and the condition. So whenever you're looking at this manifest, you can do a lot of research from here. If it doesn't have the UPC code, it has the ASIN number. So for the majority of the items, they have the UPC codes. When I say the majority, I think all of the items have UPC codes for the most part. Unless it's just something like an Amazon item that doesn't have a UPC code, it won't have a UPC code, obviously. And sometimes also, if it's something that's unknown, they'll just say unknown. They'll just give a value just based on what they think the value of it is. Because I believe that bulk.com goes through each one of the pallets and cases and touch each of the items to manifest those. So you can do a lot of research. I've done really well with bulk.com, looking at the manifest, looking at the items that's on the pallet, and see if I was going to be overall profitable. Now, there are some caveats to this. Now, what I have seen is that you do have to do your research, because you can't just take the manifest and think that it's just going to be 100% correct, because sometimes we are humans. They make errors. So you can go in here, you may see, you know, a pack of onesies, and it may say they're $343, and you know for a fact they're not $343. So you do have to look for that. So do your research. If you have time to go in here and look at a pallet, you can do your research. So that's all I'm going to say about bulk. All right, so the next liquidator I'm going to look at is liquidation.com. This is actually the first website I actually purchased liquidation pallets from. So liquidation pallets, you can get any kind from anywhere. They have clothing, accessories, jewelry, watches, consumer electronics, computers, networking, housewares, lighting, and general merchandise, and tools and machinery. So looking at the liquidation website, it can be a little overwhelming. Liquidation is a bid site, so each one of their pallets you have to bid on them. We don't really like doing bids too much, me and April, because sometimes the bids can kind of go up, and I think that's what the Extreme Unboxing Show is probably going to affect the most, is the bid sites, because a lot of people just know about liquidation.com. A lot of people just think that they have to come on here to purchase websites or purchase. So a lot of people think they just have to come on here to purchase pallets, and they are going to be bidding, just trying to get one. And I think the prices can be inflated because new people probably won't understand the value that you need to get a liquidation pallet at. So we'll just kind of go through one of them just to kind of look at what you are going to be looking at. So this right here is it's closing today at 7:15. It is 7:05. So this one closed in 10 minutes. It's audio. It has Beat Solo headphones, some kind of amplifier, and it has an MSRP of $1,795. So that's the full price MSRP value. All right. So if you look at this, this right here, it doesn't give you too many pictures. Whenever you're going on liquidation.com, it doesn't really give you lots of pictures. But you know, you can kind of get a general idea of what is in the pallet based on that. So right now we see that the pallet is going for $336. And then also you need to look at what the shipping cost is going to be. So this right here is so this pallet right here is actually coming from Las Vegas, Nevada. So I've actually purchased from this place before a couple of times. And shipping from Las Vegas to Chattanooga, Tennessee is a lot. It's very expensive. So if I look at this and I see that the pounds is like 100, 200, 300 pounds, I'm probably not going to go with that pallet because of the shipping cost is going to be associated with that. But this right here only has 67 items in it. It's an electronics pallet. So generally those are a lot cheaper to ship. These are unexpected returns, so you don't really know what you're going to get. So let's look at the shipping first. So the first thing you can do is you go down here to shipping details and you look at what the minimum shipping fee. The minimum shipping fee on this one is $40.25, but you can get a quote. So you can click on get a quote. It already has my information in here, so all I have to do is click calculate shipping costs. So it's going to give me a shipping cost. So my estimated shipping cost is $101.08. And also that does not include the buyer's premium. So on liquidation.com, there is a buyer's premium that you have to pay. So you have to pay the price of the pallet, you have to pay the shipping, you have to pay the sales tax, and you also have to pay the buyer's premium. All those things are not included in that bid price. So whenever you're purchasing from liquidation.com, you want to make sure that you are looking at actually what the price, the total price of the liquidation pallet is because if you don't, you're going to get into a lot of trouble. All right, so I talked a little bit about the buyer's premium. So the buyer's premium is going to be right here. This is going to tell you what the buyer's premium is. So it's 10% of whatever the total cost of the pallet is. So it does tell you this. I've never seen one that's different. They're always 10% whenever I do those, but they may be different if one that you look at. All right, so this lot is actually manifested. So let's go and look at the manifested just to see exactly what the items are. It has a lot of, it has some Netgear, Nighthawks, it has some Beats by Dre. It has some assorted electronics, which you don't really know what that is when it says assorted electronics. It has some ink cartridges. It has a few things. It has a lot of low priced items. And then it has a few like kind of higher priced items. The only problem with purchasing a liquidation pallet that has like 1 or 2 big items is that you're really banking on getting those items in a really good condition, or getting them in a state that where you can resell them for quite a bit of money to kind of get your money back for the pallet. So I would not recommend getting a pallet that has 1 or 2 large items that pays for the whole pallet. The hope is that you get one of those items that pays for the whole pallet, but you don't want to put your money on a pallet that you may or may not get your money out of. All right, so now let's move on to Wholesale Ninjas. Wholesale Ninjas is a website that we've used quite a bit of times. We actually just purchased from them maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. So Wholesale Ninjas is just a straight priced website. So whatever the price is what you pay. They give you quotes on shipping, and they also have a breakdown service. So if you can't get a whole pallet to your house, say for instance you live on a road that you can't like receive a big huge truck on, you can do the pallet breakdown service. So what they do is they break the pallet down, and then all they do is send you the boxes. So this Target one that we just got recently, they broke it down to 30 boxes, and they just sent us 30 boxes via UPS as opposed to a big huge pallet. So if we look at the Wholesale Ninjas website, you can see right here, I clicked on pallets and they've got Target case packed. That's one that we just got for $750. They've got Target pallets. They've got Target general merchandise 2 pallets. You can get 4 pallets. You can get 6 pallets, and they give you just one price for those items. Also, they have different things like wholesale stuff. So they got this right here, has 990 of them on it. They have some loofah sponge. They've had these items for quite a while. Wholesale Ninjas also has lot pallets. So you can go in here, and if you like makeup, you can buy makeup. If you like health and beauty, sometimes they have health and beauty. So this website changes very regularly, so you have to look on here and kind of see what they have. But the reason I like Wholesale Ninjas is because I don't have to bid on them, and I can just purchase them for a straight price. So if I know if I got $800, I can go and buy one of these Target pallets, and let's jump over to Quick Lots. So Quick Lots is one that's kind of controversial. We've ordered from Quick Lots quite a bit before, but some people don't really like Quick Lots because of some of the merchandise that you get from it. But I've never had any problems with their merchandise. So Quick Lots also is a straight priced website. So that means that you pay whatever the price is that they have. And a lot of their cases and pallets have shipping built in. So the price is what it is. So right now we're looking at the cases. You can get a mystery box. You can get a phone case box, apparel mystery box, designer apparel, and designer shoes mystery box. So these mystery boxes, you don't really know what's in them. They kind of give you like a little preview, like a photo of what could be in those boxes. So don't look at these photos and think that that's what you're going to get, because you're going to be very upset when you look through it and you don't have these items in there. But this is just a general idea of what could be in these boxes. And I've never had any problems with Quick Lots before. We've ordered some bin pallets, which are pallets of just a hodgepodge of stuff. But you have like 2 or 3, well, not really 2 or 3. You have like 5 or 6 kind of big items, and we only pay like $195 for the pallet, so it's very cheap. I think we had like microwaves, and we had all kind of stuff inside of our pallet, but the bulk of the pallet is just like really cheap stuff. But you can go in here, you can get a mystery box of these cell phone cases, and it's $295. They kind of give you a synopsis of what is actually in the box. So you get 100 items. So your cost is $2.95 per item. It tells you it's retail ready, so that means they don't have a lot of cuts and tape and all this kind of stuff on them. And they do get sent in a case, so you don't necessarily have to worry about, you know, receiving a truck to your house or to your business, something like that. So now that is the cases. Let's look at the pallets. So the pallets are a little bit different because they are a little bit higher priced. Not a little, they're a lot of bit higher priced. You know, like this apparel, designer apparel is $4,000, but it's supposedly for $25,000 worth of merchandise. They have brand new shoes. We've gotten one of those pallets with brand new shoes. They were all brand new. Electronic pallets, $5,000, which is kind of expensive. You know, and then they have, that's it. That's all they have right now. Now, they do have some other items or some other liquidation pallets every now and again. You do have to come on here and check and see if they got those items in. We've also gotten the power plug pallets before, and we've gotten the electronics pallets before. So they are a really good resource if you're trying to get merchandise pretty quickly and want to get like some clean stuff. All right, the next liquidation site that we're going to look at is Smaller Lots. This is one that's relatively new. I believe their parent company is Mid-Tennessee Wholesale, something like that. But this is smallerlots.com. If you are on Facebook and you are looking up liquidation pallets, you've probably seen an advertisement for Smaller Lots. If you want to see an unboxing of Smaller Lots, go to my other channel, Pallet Jacking. So that'll be youtube.com/palletjacking, and we actually unboxed 3 of these Smaller Lots pallets, actually boxes, I'm sorry. But these Smaller Lots are exactly what they say. They are Smaller Lots. They are very small boxes, but they do have value inside of those boxes. And out of the boxes that we got, we were actually profitable if you look at all 3 of the boxes that we had. So just looking through the Smaller Lots website, you can see that the prices are very, very cheap. They're very affordable. And you can also make offers on the boxes themselves. So once we click on one of them, it actually gives you a manifest. So the manifest, just like bulk.com, you can really go through and look at the profitability before you actually make your purchase on this website. It gives you the unit cost, it gives you what the item is, and it also gives you the ASIN if it is an Amazon item. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to get an item that you can sell, because these are unexpected returns. So just because it's in the box doesn't mean that it's full or unbroken or untouched. So you are taking a risk looking at the manifest and making a decision off of the manifest, because this pallet right here, or this box, is $371. And it has about $1,000 worth of items in it. So, you know, that's a little more. That's about 30%, 37% of retail, which is kind of high. But you could at least double your money. So a lot of times when we look at liquidation pallets, we look to double our money. So if we bought this pallet or this box and it was $371, if we can make $700 from this box, we would probably be okay with that. Also on Smaller Lots, the shipping is included inside of the price. So $371 is what you pay. You don't pay any additional for shipping. All right, so last but not least, it's one that we've only used one time before, but it's worth a mention, is marketplaceliquidation.com. So they have a lot of clothing, a lot of Target stuff, a lot of chef pools, a lot of discontinued items and different things like that. So the reason I chose this site was because we purchased some pop sockets from this website. We got like 173 of them. It was actually a really good price, and we did really well with the pop sockets. And if we ever see those pop sockets again on this website, we will purchase from them. But what I like about this website is you can get small boxes. You don't have to get like big, huge pallets. So if you are a new person and you are a person that want to get into liquidation pallets but don't have a lot of money or don't have a lot of space, you can actually get into these smaller cases just to kind of get your business started.